Welcome back to the Relentless Transitions podcast. I'm Rosalind Keith, and I'm here with my co-host Teresa. Teresa, how are you doing today?
I am doing great today. It's a little, you know, one of those fuddy-duddy days out there. It's raining and everything, but I feel good.
That's great that the atmosphere is not affecting your mood.
No, it is
Yeah.
not.
We are your co-hosts for the Relentless Transitions podcast, where we talk about life, we talk about business, and we talk about triumph in every aspect. Today, we have a very interesting topic that came to us because of a situation Teresa found herself in recently, and it shocked me that she had this question in her mind, but it has to do with accepting praise. And how do you feel about things when you are the recipient of praise, especially from somebody who you really admire, right? But
Mhm.
praise in general can be a difficult thing. So we're going to hop in, and I'm going to ask Teresa to let us know, what do you think? How do you describe praise? How do you define praise, Teresa?
Well, it's really an expression of approval, or it's an admiration, from someone about something that maybe you exude or something that you have accomplished. But it is, this is actually not just observing you, but putting expression and words behind it.
Yeah.
Yes. So look, so since Rosalind kind of let the cat out the bag, I wasn't ready I'm still to talk about that part of the podcast, that part of this relationship yet. But hey, you guys are along with us, and we are happy that you are here watching us continue to grow, and excel in our own lives and business. But the experience that I had was last week. I had the opportunity real quickly to just um, uh, talk to someone who would potentially be a mentor for me. So even this is something to keep in mind, even when you are doing well or you are in a leader's position, even leaders need a leader. We all need that person or that group of people that are pulling us along, pushing us, either to maintain or to do better. So I was looking for this mentor, and after he actually reviewed my website, and I attended a webinar, and we did a private mini session. He actually was heaping accolades on me, and he really, when it ended, he did not become my mentor. He actually almost sounded like we were like equals, like, we could work together, and that he wanted to just, that I was going to be successful, that I kind of already had the secret sauce. And, when I was on his private webinar, I was able to actually speak to one of his potential clients, which was, quite fascinating, because, I never try to say anything or promote myself on someone else's platform, unless I have been asked to. But he had a potential client who was, just saying a lot of things and heaping a lot of self doubt onto themselves. And I asked him if I could speak to him. And then I encouraged that person, who in turn turned around and said, well, maybe I need to work with her. So, and of course, no, I pushed him right on back to, the person who was holding the webinar. But, so I reached out to Rosalind afterwards, and I was just really, it was hard for me to accept, that level of praise, from someone that I was feeling like I was aspiring to be like them. Does that make sense, or did I ramble?
No, that's exactly, yeah, that was a terrific explanation of what led us up to thinking maybe this would be a great podcast topic.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
Rosalind was over there being my cheerleader. I'm so thankful I met her. And y'all, we have still not actually ever met before, but I'm so glad to have her in my life and in my corner. And she was over there going, "What are you doing? And what are you talking about?" And, you know, so here we are. We're talking about accepting praise.
Thanks, Teresa, and the feeling is mutual. I don't think I could have nearly done as much as I have this year if I didn't have you in my corner. So thank you for the compliment. So
Ooh, look at you. Okay, this podcast is over.
yeah, lesson learned.
I know. But but Rosalind, let's talk about it. Why do you think that it's so hard to accept praise?
Well, there are a multitude of reasons why it might be hard to accept praise, not phrase. But I'm going to just get started with one that I can think of quickly, and that is, there might be a little bit of self-esteem issues with yourself, and when somebody praises you, you might actually think the person is lying because really you don't envision, you don't have that vision of yourself, so you feel like you're not worthy, like there's something wrong with you, and so the person must be lying,
Hmm.
period. Like there's no way I'm that, I'm that good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one reason.
That could be one. Another is like your self-image, like how you that picture, how you view yourself. When I work with my clients, and that's why I was questioning myself, like, why are you having such a hard time with this? But I always encourage my clients to paint your own picture, define yourself, and then that is what has meaning. What you say about you means the most, not what other people say. And that's important because most times we run into people with negative mindsets, right, trying to heap all of their negative garbage onto us, and they say it with such conviction that it seems like it would be true, but really it's not true. So it's important for us to have our armor on, such as having our own definition of ourselves.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
sometimes, it's hard to accept praise because maybe we have a negative self image, or we don't have an image that stands up to the compliments.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. And that goes very closely with the self-esteem issues, right? You just
Hmm.
don't, you can't believe that you are as good as that person is telling you. So and another reason, these are all kind of tied together, but another reason for having trouble with praise is that you may be uncomfortable with kind of the big expectations that that praise creates in your life. You feel like it's better to set the bar low so that you don't have to live up to all these praiseworthy expectations. So your self-doubt creeps in and you become afraid that you can't really live up to those expectations of the compliment. It's almost like you feel like you don't belong there, you're not worthy of being there. You feel like you're fake, that it's all part of feeling the buzzword. One of the buzzwords going around these days is imposter syndrome,
Hmm.
and if you suffer from that, accepting praise from anybody can make you feel like, uh-oh, I'm in the wrong room, I don't really belong here, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Hmm.
because you've set the bar so low for yourself,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you're uncomfortable.
And sometimes, on the flip side of that, for me, so I don't have like low self esteem, and I don't even think I have a negative self picture. But when we, were communicating back and forth, for what I said to Rosalind was that, I have functioned for so long, focusing on self affirmation and self praise, and although the people that are around me, yes, they are encouraging, but they're not necessarily, um, you know, those people that are saying, hey, I think that you're really great or whatever, it's like they're proud of whatever has been accomplished, but there's no one like pushing, me. So I find myself pushing myself. So then to hear like someone outside come in and actually have this after they're saying the affirmations that I've been saying all along,
Yeah.
it was kind of like, whoa. But sometimes, you might feel that you are great, but maybe you get like a promotion or something and you find yourself being elevated into a new space. And so now you're kind of like, okay, when you get pushed outside of the norm, then it can seem like it's a little bit uncomfortable, and people are telling you, hey, you're great and you deserve to be in this room,
That's
you
right.
know?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, and women, I think in particular, are conditioned to be likable and not to be, um, not to be ambitious, not to show off their their really great skills, not to show off their confidence because they've
Hmm.
been conditioned that that's not what women do. And if I am that way, I'm going to be considered to be threatening or the b word, or you see this
Hmm.
all the time, right? In
Right.
business, successful women, you know um are there's a negative image of success, a lot of successful women. And so hearing and accepting compliments and praise and that sort of thing can make you very, very uncomfortable, because you don't want to become that stereotype of the successful
Exactly.
woman, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so another title for this podcast, as we were talking, was to be or not to be great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, what I am going to say to our audience, and for us to take heart as well, is that it's okay to be great.
Yeah.
It really is okay to be great and be your absolute best self, because when we are our best, then that blessing just flows down to our family and our friends and those who are closest to us. They benefit from us being the best that we can be. But, sometimes it's hard to accept praise because you feel like you just want to be humble.
Yeah.
You want, that is the image that you have of yourself, of always being quiet and, being just this humble person. But and you feel like if you accept the compliment or you accept the praise and you revel in it, that maybe you're being too arrogant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I think that, a lot of this has to do with your conditioning. Like as a child, um were you praised? Were you told, or were you told the opposite, that
Mhm.
to be good is and to be proud of how good you are is somehow bad, so you're conditioned
Mhm.
in so many respects: society, your family, your peers, everybody around you can affect how you feel about accepting praise, for
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you can be doing great things, and but there's this one thing that maybe you weren't so great in, and people gravitate towards that thing.
Yeah.
And so they're always talking about that one thing or the thing that didn't turn out perfect. You may have done 99 things perfectly, but this one thing out of 100 that didn't turn out perfectly, and it wasn't even a complete disaster, that's the thing, they focused on. Kind of like being a child, you make straight A's and one C,
Yeah.
and then and you have a parent that focuses on the C and doesn't give you the praise for the A's.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it just brings me back to my high school days where if you got A's and you were proud of it, and you kind of, sharing with your peer group, what did they
Yes.
call you? Yo, you're a brown noser, right?
Hmm. The
It's like,
teacher's pet.
Teachers, yeah. So, we are really, when you think about it, from a very, very young age, we are conditioned to be humble and to somehow reject praise as being um a dirty word, like a
Mhm,
dirty part of you somehow, right? So
mhm, mhm.
it's kind of, well, it's very too bad actually, and it's sad that that's the way many of us are conditioned. And I do think that this is particularly a problem for women. I think if you walk into a group of men and they're all high achievers, they're going to be out there with their
Yes, with the
chests puffed
bravado.
out. Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
why can't we be the same,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
really, to our female audience, listeners, really, puff yourself up. It's
Yes.
okay to accept praise. So,
Mhm.
but Teresa, do you want to talk any more about why you find it so, or people might find it so difficult to
No,
accept praise?
I think that we covered, what we have been thinking about, but definitely we want to hear from our listeners. And so if you are on our YouTube channel, Relentless Transitions, please put in the comments any reasons, additional reasons that you have for why it is so difficult for us to just accept praise, just to accept it. And we're going to talk about some ways on how you can start to practice it, because if that's not your norm, then definitely sometimes it can just be so uncomfortable that either you start shunning those people who are giving you those compliments, or you will self-sabotage yourself from getting that promotion. So we want to talk about some ways on how you can respond, and start to actively receive compliments.
Yeah. I think that's really important because I think a lot of people don't know how to do it graciously
Hmm.
or genuinely, right? And they feel
Right.
really uncomfortable. So,
Hmm.
so I think, how do we respond to praise? Did you want to get started, Teresa? Or
Okay. Well, oh, so this is a good one. I kind of jotted some down. I think Rosalind has some too. Resist the urge to belittle yourself. Resist the urge to just come in there and say something negative about yourself. If someone gives you a compliment, oh, that really wasn't that much. Oh, that dress is really beautiful. Oh, this old thing, I got it at the Goodwill, or I got it on sale. I have to like just diminish the value of the compliment some type of way. So resist that urge to belittle yourself.
yeah, and if you do that, you actually try and think of it from the person who gave you the praise, from their point of view. And when you're downplaying that compliment, you may actually cause that person to feel a bit rejected. Like,
Hmm.
you know,
Yes.
why is she belittling herself? What did I do? Why doesn't she believe me? And they'll start. So you've made them uncomfortable
Hmm.
by belittling yourself and by not accepting the compliment graciously. So that's important to keep in mind for sure.
Hmm. Right. We don't want to hurt the other's feelings.
Yeah.
And then avoid a compliment battle. And I
Yeah.
love this one. Basically, what that means, or what this means, is to just accept the compliment. Don't feel like just because someone gave you a compliment that you now have to respond and give them a compliment. Oh, that is really a beautiful dress that you have on today. It's okay to just say thank you. You don't have to turn around and say, oh, well, I love that tie. Or oh, I love those shoes. It's nice, but it is not necessary. And then they turn around if they are having the same struggles, and they say those earrings, or that bag, and then you go back with something else. So avoid having a compliment battle.
Yeah. And I mean, getting into something like that doesn't even feel genuine because eventually, like the compliments are not going to be genuine anymore,
Right. You're just
right? So
finding something.
yeah. Yeah. And, if you're working with a team or with other people, when you are given a compliment for a job well done, share credit where credit is due. Include your teammates as part of the success story. It's not just always about you. I mean, if it was just a sole effort on your part, fine. But if you're part of a team and you're presenting the team's results to your boss on behalf of the team, make sure that you share the credit around, and that you make the boss understand that this was a team effort that got us to where we are today to come up with this solution. So yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And another way to start to accept praise is to just be grateful, express gratitude. Just a simple thank you is really enough.
Yeah.
Now, there is this exercise that I do with my clients, and I have never seen it not move one person but an entire room. I never have I seen this fail, and it's just an exercise in receiving. And so typically what I say is to, you know write down. I've done so many different things, but you want to w- just stand up straight with your shoulders, back. You can even do it while we're sitting in our chairs here. And then take your hands, palms up, open, out, ready. Yep, ready to receive. And then as someone is giving you accolades or giving you praise, just accept it. Now, prior to this though, I usually have people write down like 5 things that they've accomplished. And so Rosalind, we'll do it real quick. So just real quick, give me 5 things that you've accomplished. And look, guys, don't say, oh, I haven't done anything, I haven't accomplished. I don't care if you have to say, well, I made it through kindergarten. If you have to reach way back, there are 5 things that you have accomplished. So, Rosalind, give me 5 things.
Okay, in no particular
No
order. I
particular
have
order.
raised two amazing children into really interesting, successful young adults. I went to university when I was told that it was not part of the family to go to university. The family culture was not to be university educated. I successfully moved internationally 7 times without going crazy. um, I have started my coaching business, and I am a good coach.
Okay. All right. So we have all these things. We have our 5 things, and good coach. Okay, Rosalind. So you ready to
Okay,
receive?
so
So you're
hands
sitting there,
hands in
your
the
hands are
receiving.
out just like this. And
Okay.
then I am going to say, oh my gosh, Rosalind, you are amazing. You are awesome and amazing. I am so proud of you. You have raised 2 amazing children to become successful adults. You have moved internationally 7 times. 7 times, Rosalind, really. Talk about an overachiever. You went to university and became educated when that was not something that was the norm in your family. You have launched a coaching business. You are an awesome coach. And yes, honey, she is an amazing accountability partner. Woo!
Thank you, Teresa. Actually, I feel amazing. So, Teresa, that felt amazing, and for those of you watching on YouTube, our YouTube channel, you'll see that there's a big smile on my face, and that's also part of how to accept praise, right? Is to accept it with a gracious smile and a simple thank you. And I want to thank you, Teresa, for recognizing all my hard work. Your praise means a lot to me.
Well, you are so welcome. So that's just a simple exercise, and I have done that in small groups of friends all the way to conferences, and it really makes a difference. And especially when you're not used to hearing, a praise or a compliment, or maybe it has been a long time since anyone just stopped for a moment to acknowledge the even just the small things that you've accomplished. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What a great exercise, Teresa. Thank you.
hmm So, it's okay to admit that it's hard work, and that your accomplishment, that it was hard work and that is worthy of being appreciated. Look, we have been going through this. I mean, I can think of countless things that would probably apply to most of us. I mean, look, here we are still in our right minds in the middle of a pandemic
Yeah.
that's been going on, you know, for almost 2 years now. So, I mean, so much about our lives have been changed, and we have been able to just adjust. So, just the fact that you've been able to make the little small changes that have had to take place in order for you to still be here today, functioning, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, and still moving forward, that is worthy of praise. So good job, everybody out there. Good job.
That very, very true, Teresa. Just getting through the last 18 months is praiseworthy for all of us, for the
Mhm.
whole world, really, when you think about it. So is there anything else you want to add to this
No,
topic
I
of
think that this has really
praise?
been a great podcast. Of course, as I always say, Rosalind and I can talk and talk and talk and talk, but this was a fresh topic for us because of my experience last week, and I'm still, adjusting to it. The things that he said to me, are things that I say to myself, but hearing them coming from someone that I was looking to mentor me was, I don't know if I would say it was a first. I'd have to think about it, but it definitely kind of made me step back for a second. And Rosalind was right there to just snap me right on back into place. and
Happy to
I'm
be of
glad that
assistance.
she and I'm glad that she was. But we wanted to come to you today and just share what we've learned, what our experience has been, and to prompt you to accept that praise and let you know that it is okay to be great. So, our takeaway for today is to remember that you are already awesome and amazing. When you get a compliment from someone recognizing your awesomeness, a simple thank you will do. That's a good one, Rosalind.
It is a good one.
Yes,
It
a
is a
simple
good
thank you
one.
will do. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us here today for our podcast. We look forward to you being here with us again. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share. Please go to our YouTube channel at Relentless Transitions, and you can always email us at relentlesstransitions@gmail.com. See you next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone.